Okay, so let's just jump right in. Think about any song you love, any song at all.
Pop, rock, classical, it doesn't matter.
Exactly. They are all built using the same fundamental elements. And today we're going to unpack those building blocks so you can, really understand what's going on inside the music.
The goal here is to see how all these separate parts come together to communicate a feeling or even tell a story without any words at all.
And to do that, we have to start with the most basic element of all, the beat.
Which brings us to rhythm. You could almost call it the heartbeat of music. It's the most fundamental part because it's all about organizing sound over time.
It's that pattern of sounds and silences that moves everything forward.
Exactly. That steady pulse you tap your foot to, that's the
Yeah.
anchor. We call that the beat.
But the rhythm is more than just the beat, right?
Oh, much more. The beat is the canvas.
Yeah.
The rhythm is the actual painting. It's the pattern of different note lengths, like short quarter notes or longer half notes, that create the real interest.
And some rhythms are simple, very repetitive.
And others are incredibly complex. They use something called syncopation, which we should definitely talk about.
So what exactly is syncopation?
Well, it's when a composer places an accent or an emphasis somewhere you don't expect it.
Like off the main beat.
Precisely. Instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, it might be 1 and 2 and 3. That little disruption, that's what makes you want to move. It's the core of jazz, of so much pop music.
So it adds excitement. And this all connects to the speed of the music, the tempo.
Yes. Tempo is, simply put, the speed of the music. We usually measure it in beats per minute, or BPM.
A fast tempo feels exciting, urgent, joyful.
Makes you want to dance.
While a slow tempo is, more serious or peaceful, think of a lullaby.
And musicians will sometimes use a device, a metronome, to practice keeping that tempo perfectly steady.
But what about when the speed changes? That can have a huge dramatic effect.
Absolutely. If the music gradually gets faster, building tension, that's called an accelerando.
You hear that in movie scores all the time, right before something big happens.
All the time. And the opposite, a gradual slowing down, is a ritardando. It often signals the end of a piece or maybe a really sad moment.
Okay, so we have the pulse, we have the speed, now we need the tune.
Now we get to melody. This is the part of a song you can sing or whistle. It's a sequence of musical tones that your brain just hears as one single thing.
A single idea.
A single idea, yeah. And those tones, they have different pitches.
Which is just how high or low a note sounds.
And that's pure physics. Pitch is determined by the frequency of the sound vibrations. A really high frequency means tons of vibrations per second.
Which gives you a high pitch.
And a lower frequency, slower vibrations, gives you a low pitch. Simple as that. We say a melody is rising when the pitches get higher and falling when they get lower.
And most melodies aren't just random notes, are they? They're built from something specific.
That's right. They're built using scales, which are just specific sets of notes arranged by pitch. A really memorable melody often has a mix of small steps between notes and then these bigger, more dramatic leaps.
So melody is one line of music, but songs feel much richer than that. Which brings us to harmony.
Yes, harmony is what happens when you play 2 or more notes at the same time. It adds all that depth and richness, and it supports the main melody.
And in Western music, we do this a lot with chords.
Right. Chords are just groups of 3 or more notes played at once. And harmony is what really controls the feeling of the music.
How so?
Well, you can have consonant harmonies. These sound pleasant, stable, complete.
Like everything fits together perfectly.
Exactly. But then you have dissonant harmonies. These sound tense, like they're clashing.
And that's not a mistake, right?
Not at all. It's intentional. Dissonance creates tension, and your ear wants it to resolve, to go back to a stable consonant sound. That journey from tension to release is one of the most powerful things in music.
So the relationship between the melody and the harmony is what gives a song its emotional depth. Without it, things can sound pretty thin.
Okay, so let's shift from what notes are being played to how they're being played, specifically how loud or soft.
We're talking about dynamics.
Dynamics, exactly. It's all about the volume, and it's a huge part of expressing energy and feeling. Composers use specific Italian words for this.
Most people have probably heard of piano for soft and forte for loud.
Right. And you can actually measure this with a decibel meter. But it's the changes in dynamics that are really interesting.
Like a crescendo.
A crescendo, which is a gradual increase in volume, it builds intensity. You feel the music getting bigger and bigger.
And sudden changes can be really surprising, right? A sudden jump from soft to loud can make you jump out of your seat.
It's a great way to signal a new section or just shock the listener.
All right, so besides loudness, there's another quality to sound. It's why a trumpet and a violin sound so different, even playing the same note.
And that quality is called timbre. You pronounce it timbre.
Timbre. So it's like the unique voice of an instrument.
That's a perfect analogy. It's why you can recognize your friend's voice over the phone. Their voice has a specific timbre that's different from everyone else's.
And what creates that? The material of the instrument.
The material, the shape, how the sound is actually produced, it's all part of it. We use words like bright, dark, warm, or even scratchy to describe it.
And with digital synthesizers, you can basically create thousands of different timbres by just changing the sound waves.
Exactly. It's a whole new world of sound.
Okay, that brings us to another key idea, which is texture.
Texture is all about how many different layers of sound are happening at the same time. Think of it like a fabric. Is it one single thread, or is it a thick, complex weave?
So what are the main types?
Well, the simplest is monophonic. That's just a single melody line. One person singing by themselves with no instruments.
Just one layer.
Just one. Then you have polyphonic texture, which is much more complex. That's when you have many different independent melodies all playing at the same time.
They're all weaving in and out of each other.
Exactly.
Ugh.
But the one you hear most often, especially in pop music, is homophonic.
And that is?
That's one main melody being supported by chords. The singer has the main tune, and the guitar or piano is playing the harmony underneath. That's homophonic texture.
So texture can be really thin, like just a flute and a guitar, or incredibly thick, like an entire orchestra playing at full blast.
So we have all these elements, but they need a plan, a map. And that map is the structure, or what we call musical form.
It's like the chapters in a book. It tells you where you're going.
For sure. In modern music, you're probably very familiar with the structure of a verse and a repeating, catchy chorus.
Of course. You'll also hear things like an intro at the beginning, a bridge in the middle to change things up, and an outro to finish it off.
And classical music has its own forms. One common one is ternary form, which is basically ABA. You get one section, then a different contrasting section, and then you return to the first one.
It gives you that feeling of coming home.
It does. A clear structure is what keeps music from feeling random or confusing. You give the listener a path to follow.
Now let's zoom in from that big map to the smallest details, how the individual notes are actually played.
Yes, this is articulation. It describes how notes are started, held, and ended. It really changes the character of a melody.
So what are the key terms here?
Well, two big ones are staccato and legato.
Okay.
Staccato notes are played very short and detached. Think of a dancing sound. It can feel light or sometimes urgent.
And legato.
Legato is the opposite. The notes are played smoothly and connected with no silence in between them. It creates this very flowing, seamless sound.
And musicians can also use accents, right, to make certain notes stand out a bit more.
Exactly. A little extra punch on a specific note. Articulation is what turns notes on a page into a real, living performance.
All right, this brings us to two final big ideas that tie everything together: instrumentation and genre.
Instrumentation is just the choice of instruments. What tools are you using to make the sound?
So a rock band uses electric guitars and drums, a string quartet uses two violins, a viola, and a cello.
And that choice immediately sets a certain expectation and determines the overall character of the sound.
Which leads right into genre.
It does. Genre is a category: pop, jazz, classical, whatever it is. It helps organize music based on its style and traditions.
And knowing the genre tells you what to expect.
For sure. If you put on a jazz album, you might expect to hear improvisation, where musicians are making up notes on the spot.
But with a classical piece, you expect it to be played exactly as it was written down hundreds of years ago. Knowing the genre is like having a key to what you're about to hear.
So after all this, what's the final purpose? Why do we combine rhythm, melody, harmony, all these things?
It has to be about communication.
It is purely communication. All these elements work together for one goal: to communicate an emotion or a story that you just can't put into words.
That's why major keys often sound bright and happy, while minor keys can sound mysterious or sad.
It's a language. And filmmakers use this language constantly. They use music to heighten tension or to make a sad moment feel absolutely heartbreaking.
So when you understand these concepts, you stop just hearing music. You start really listening to how it's built.
You start to appreciate how all these moving parts combine to create something that is so important to us as humans.
We hope this helps you hear your favorite songs in a totally new way. Good luck with your studies.